Hey folks, I'm here in Crimea. It's just early morning, as you can see behind me. This is Yalta on the Crimean Peninsula. This is the ocean. I'm here in Crimea, and this is Russia. I am in Russia. You know, there's a lot of deceptions. Let me just go over really quickly what actually happened with Crimea. All right, so Crimea has always been considered to be part of Russia. You can read about the history of the Crimean War. Go down the line. It's always considered to be part of Russia. However, in 1956, when Khrushchev came to power in the Soviet Union, he made this backroom deal, no one knows exactly why, and he signed it over to Ukraine. It was kind of a favor to Ukraine, and they were all part of the Soviet Union at that time anyway. It was the Ukraine Soviet Republic, and he signed a deal over so that Crimea, where this military base would be, which is a very strategic location, he signed a deal that it would be part of the Ukrainian Soviet Republic. And no one really thought anything of that. But then when the fall of the Soviet Union happened, there was a treaty that was signed that basically said that Ukraine would get Crimea when Ukraine broke off and became an independent country and was no longer part of the Soviet Union, but that Russia could keep their military base in this strategic location, the Crimean Peninsula. And so that was fine. Everything was fine. No one had an issue. Russia kept a huge military base here in Crimea, and then meanwhile, Ukraine got it, and it was fine until 2014, when the USA installed a fanatical, extremist government in Kiev. I mean, these were people that were burning World War II memorials, tearing down statues of people who fought in the Second World War, outlawed the teaching of the Russian language in school. Just very extreme. And most people here in Crimea consider themselves to be Russian. They think of themselves as Russian. They speak the Russian language. Their kids speak Russian. And even the people here who aren't Russian, maybe they're Armenian, but they identify with Russia, Tatars, whatnot. And so when that happened, when this fanatical extremist government was installed with the support of the United States, it was a coup, the Euromaiden. At that point, the people here in Crimea voted to join with Russia. And so they did. And so now Crimea is part of the Russian Federation. It's the Republic of Crimea. It's part of the Russian Federation. There was no big invasion. There wasn't, some big rolling of tanks over the border. Russia's had a military base here since the fall of the Soviet Union, and that's what happened. And the way this has been portrayed in Western media is just outrageous. People are very happy here in Crimea. I'm in Yalta, which is along the ocean here. People think of themselves as Russian. They like Russia. Russia's doing a lot of economic development here. This isn't some brutal military occupation. This isn't some kind of colonization. This is simply the people of Crimea who have asserted that they consider themselves to be Russian, and because the USA installed this extremist regime, they are happy to join with Russia. So let's get the facts straight about what's really going on here in Crimea. This is Russia.